Nothing really to add, other than, it's another bye week, which is, I find these advantageous. Places I've been in the past, we've had good success after the bye. We fought a close game the last time against Kansas State and lost it at the end. But byes can be very productive if you approach it the right way. We try to look inward and see where we can get better, but we also get probably a 9 or a 10-day prep for the next opponent. And so I'm certainly way into Texas Tech already, having kind of made a list of things that we want to get better at moving forward. Heard some conversation about the last 4 games. I think it is super important we just stay where our feet are and focus all of our attention on Texas Tech. This is a good football team. We're playing them on a road at a place where they've been very successful at home for them. And so we got to put our best foot forward. We got to put our best effort on the field. And thankfully for us, I feel like we're playing a better game each week. So the challenge for us is to play even better than we did last week and not really worry about the results. So that's where I'm at with it.
That's ourselves.
How does Shurmur make you a better coordinator? What does he do to challenge you and make you better?
Well, I think better players make everybody look a little smarter, right? I mean, I think we as coaches will all acknowledge that. But it's been fun for me, our journey together. It's been short, but we got very close very quickly, and we sort of think alike. We're able to kind of come to the same conclusion about what it should look like, and then he's got to go out there and execute it. So that's been fun. And then we kind of got a West Coast offense in a no-huddle format, inspired by the mountain air, I guess. I don't know what you'd say, but. And so we're able to tweak things. We're able to come to the sideline, and when we get together, we're watching the iPad, and we'll say, the next time I call this, let's just change this route. And then obviously Travis is always in the middle of that. So it's been very inspiring and fun for me. And, I really don't care what we run as long as I know what it is, and we have success running it. I'm the same as Rob. Anything that blows up on us, I take responsibility for. And quite frankly, anything that goes well for us, I credit the players for their execution.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. We've seen Isaiah Augusta take a big jump these past weeks.
Yeah.
I know you've emphasized you wanted to run the ball, and we've really seen that in these last couple of weeks. What has been the emphasis there, and how have you seen it really flourish?
Yeah, no, we did a good job running the ball last week. I thought we had a good plan for going into it, and the credit to the staff. And then I found a way to call them at the right time. That's always a challenge too. And I like to run the ball. I love to pass the ball. Don't get me wrong. I love to pass the ball. But when you're running the ball and gaining yards, that helps the play caller. When you're running the ball and you're getting nubbed and you're like, what is, then it locks people off track. So it goes hand in hand. It's kind of like us on offense. Our responsibility is to get ahead by a score or two. And what you find is when we're playing like that, then the sacks take hold, right? Our defense, then they're going to throw the ball more than they typically do, and that's when your sackers can come alive. So it's all coordinated. Running the ball is one piece of that, and I feel like on our running the ball journey, we're getting better and better, and it's a credit to the players.
Coach, we saw Jordan C. Going in the run game and stuff last week. Just what is it like having a player like that at left tackle, and how much easier does that make your job?
Well, schematically, we can pull our tackles because he and Phil are both athletic guys that can move around. So, it's just using your personnel to to their strengths. So Jordan can move around. He does a good job, locating the guy he's got to block, and the scheme fit last week for who we were playing. This week it'll be different because the front's going to be a little bit different. The team, it's a multiple front team, so we may or may not see most. And that's why, like, when you look at things, you say, okay, well, their run game now involves the tackle pulling. Well, maybe for that week because that fit against that defense, right? But yeah, I mean, his athleticism is one of his really good traits.
All right, go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned staying grounded, like just looking at the next task at hand. It would seem to me like Shurmur is very much like that. Is that right?
He is, and he's really pretty much daily task driven. you know, which I am. You know, we get up in the morning and what's practice? What's the practice format? And I try to go out there and call a practice where our players can have success and win. And then we take a break, have lunch, look at it. You know, go home, have dinner, visit with my wife, get up in the morning and do it again. So we approach practice that way, and we kind of stay task driven, so that when we get to the game, then it's just you're just following through with that. So he does a good job of playing the game, kind of taking a breath, and then coming back and getting into the next process toward the next, you know, preparing for the next team. So you have to be that way. You really do, or trust me, it can blow up on you fast. If you don't stay where your feet are, you just don't try to keep today or make today the best day of the week, or, you know, then it's going to blow up on you. And he understands that. He's done that his whole life, and I think that's why he'll have a bright future.
So as a quick follow-up to that, when your leaders are like that as players, does that help seep into the rest of the team to help the whole team take that approach?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I think everybody looks at those of us that are in positions of authority. Everybody's always watching what you do. It's just the way it is, because they're looking for lessons to learn if they respect what you've done. You know, that's why I get here early. That's why I stay late. That's why I try to do things during the day that are impactful to help not only do what I'm supposed to do, but then maybe inspire other people. And I think the same can be said for the quarterback.
Matt, go ahead.
Coach, time restraints, I'm just curious, and kind of following up over those last two questions. What's the difference between creating a game plan for the NFL and for Saturdays?
Well, it's different, right? And it's going to have to be a different setting for me to really answer your question. We're probably going to have to sit down and I can take you through it. But in the NFL, because of the way the rosters are designed, I always really thought of it as it was 3 or 4 different games within the game. So in other words, you had first and second down, right? Then this animal called third down, where now that's a totally different game, third down. And then you have red zone. That's a totally different game. In the red zone, you know, they're defending, you know, you're attacking extremes. They either drop them all out or bring them all right? So you're there. In third downs, you know, a lot more man, a lot more exotic pass rush, so on. What I've found in college so far is there isn't quite as much of that. It's kind of like one fluid game. So as an example, you'll find teams that'll play the same coverage concepts on third down and in the red zone as they would on first and second down. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So with the exceptions, don't get me wrong, you get more zero blitz in the red zone and so forth. Maybe a little more man on, you know, so you call man beaters. But in the NFL, it's very distinct, very distinct. You know, it's like I said, 3 games within a game. Here, it's just kind of one fluid game, and I think there's a reason for it. Teams play no huddle, right? And so you're lined up ready to go, and so you don't have the time in the huddle to organize all that stuff you might want to do. And so I think that's one big difference in college ball tactically than pro ball.
As you go through a season, does your offense evolve or does it refine?
Oh, wow. That's kind of some white wine thinking there. No, it definitely evolves, right? Because I like to try to, you know, run 4 or 5 things each week that they haven't seen. So that's evolving. But then the refinement piece is you want to be able to run some of the same things every week and do it better. And that's the advantage of practice. So to answer your question, I think it's both. If you're, you know, you got the right players and you're doing the right things, you can refine and evolve. In fact, I might steal that from you. Refine and evolve.
There you go.
All right,
There you
that's
go.
good. Good
Then
stuff.
if you're gonna steal
I'll give it to you.
If you're gonna steal, then I get one more thing.
All right.
How much have you evolved and refined as an offense over this season?
I think a lot, and the reason I say that is, I have a better feel for the players that we have. I feel like we're playing better and better each week, but that can all come to a screeching halt if we don't keep working. So we're going to try to next few days refine, and evolve. That's what we're going to try.
I guess kind of speaking on the same lines, my question is about Ryan and Staub, and just kind of what's the balance of trying to develop him, but also make sure he's ready to go in on a given week in case he has to, and kind of how do you feel like his development has come along this season as he kind of gets ready for the offseason where he has a chance to compete for a job next year?
Yeah, I think he's done really well. I mean, we saw a little taste of what he could do last year against Utah. I think he's had a really good offseason. And I do see him getting better each week. I think the challenge for a backup quarterback is you don't get as many reps as a starter. So one of the superpowers that a backup quarterback needs to be able to have is that you're going to go in and execute in really a tough situation because your starter's out, and do it well with very few reps. And I think he's starting to master that. And then his development as just an overall quarterback, day after day after day, I think he gets better and better.
Scott?
Coach, it seems like this offense has the ability to be a lot more kind of diverse in terms of like personnel groupings. Like you're seeing some 2 tight end looks, some 2 running back looks even. How much flexibility do you feel as a play caller because of that?
Yeah, I think that's just, being smart to use your players. So the other night we used 4 wideouts. We used 4 wideouts with Draylon as the running back, which to the defense appears like 5 wideouts, right? We used 11 personnel. We used 12 personnel. We used 2 halfbacks and 3 wides. And so it's just more variables for the defense. And then it's a credit to our players. Plus, a little bit like the transfer portal discussion, I can play more players and kind of keep them involved and into the game, which I think is a good thing.
And then kind of follow up to that, you mentioned Draylon. He's kind of talked about being like a Debo Samuel type player. What's kind of your vision for him kind of, in the now and in the future, and how you might utilize him?
Yeah, we'll let all that reveal itself, In fact, when the scouts always ask me, who does this player remind you of? And it's rare that I will say that, because I don't want to, hype a guy or box a guy in. We'll see how this plays out. But, when he gets in there, he's lined up as a wide out, and he's also lined up as a back. And so we'll just see how that grows.
Coach, you mentioned adding in a few new plays every week. What kind of goes into your creative process in deciding what new plays you're going to put in, or like what you see, throughout the league?
Well, you watch the tape, right? So each week you have one more game than you had the week before, so you can see. And you really want to try to run plays within your system that work against the defense you're going to play. That's why in some weeks we'll pull the tackles, other weeks we'll pull the guards. So you look at what works against that defense, and then there's a little bit of creative flow. There's a little bit of in my past life might have run a play like this. We keep everything, and we're willing to copy anything because we all want plays that work. And so you're looking to run plays. Like, we have some really, really good plays that work against our defense in practice that would stink on Saturday. So you don't run them, right? I mean, you just put them on a shelf and then run the ones that you think are going to work. And then most of the time they do, sometimes they don't.
Coach, it feels like LeJohntay has kind of grown into a bigger role for you guys, kind of as a chain mover. How much pressure does that take off of you as a play caller, knowing that third and medium, I have a guy I can go to every time?
Yeah, he's like, when you can throw the ball in third and medium and count on a guy getting the first down, it's like being able to call a run and counting on getting 5 yards. And, it's very comforting for a play caller. And LeJohntay's done a wonderful job. I mean, he's made big plays, obviously, right? That's a matter of record, thank God. But he's been steady. He's been tough. He's done a good job blocking. Again, another player I didn't know very well, but I've gained a huge appreciation for who he is as a player and a person, and I'm really glad he's here.
Jack, last one.
Looking at your tight ends room with Sam Hart out now, just how much confidence do you have in guys like Savell and Morgan to?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of confidence, and I think you have to be able to play with a tight end. As fun as it is to line up in 10 personnel and flip the ball around, to play winning offense and do a lot of the things that we've all been discussing, you have to be able to cap the edge and put a tight end in the core. And I think our guys, that's another group that I think, as Brett does it and Mike do a good job working with those guys, and I think they've improved steadily. And you can see as we go along here, I've used 11 personnel more each week. And that's because the players are developing. You know, it always comes back to the players. And their development warrants them getting reps, doing what they do well.
Appreciate it.
Good.
All right, guys.